and welcome to another Dave Does video, and today we're checking out the band or group Underkings. I'm going to check out the song The Mask. Is it The Mask or Mask? Yeah, no, The Mask, which is out on effectively today because it's the day we're releasing it, but I'm recording it early, so 31st of July 2020. So a little bit of bias. So I don't know, I love it when bands contact me and ask if I can check out stuff. I'm really happy to do that sort of thing. It's great checking out big bands, but I'm really love finding out new bands that are coming out and what they're up to and what they're all about. So a little bit of bio about them. I didn't know anything about them, but basically formed in 2019, so last year. Started as a solo endeavour of Maxwell Jeffries, previously of Rage Cave, great name. The project soon began to broaden its scope after enlisting the vocal talents of Dustin Burmeister. Another good name. The Nottingham/Arizona-based Underkings began recording their debut album. So I'm guessing this is kind of an online collaboration sort of thing. Having the tracks recorded in Arizona, the vocals, sending them back to Nottingham. What are their inspirations? So drawing informations of Black Sabbath, Judas Priest. What else have we got? Kevlar Tech, Megadeth, Pantera. Okay, so you've got some interesting influences in there. So in June 2020, they released the single "The Throne." An unapologetic nod to his heroes with riff-laden new wave of British heavy metal. The Mask will be released in late July, seeing Max take a more Doom-influenced approach. Okay, so we're going for Doom on it. Okay, yeah, I'm all for that. So let's find out what this is all about. Now, of course, if you like this video, please do subscribe, click the like, share, leave the comments down below. Get involved with the challenges. We've got the originals versus covers, and of course, the greatest song ever. Challenge details are in the description down below. If you want to support the channel, you can do so via Patreon. Priority video requests where you sponsor a video. We have the Right Inside Craft Shop. We have Bandcamp for the band Nothing Gained, where all of which you can purchase albums and stuff from my old band. Always greatly appreciated. If you want to check out Underkings, go check them out. They are on Underkings Band on Facebook. They're Underkings on Instagram. They have their own Twitter, and of course they have their own YouTube. If you search Underkings Band on YouTube, you can check them out with a few more songs they have on there as well. So go check those guys out and show them some love. Okay, let's do this. This is... I've got to bring this back up. Yep, here we go. This is the Mask. Get my headphones ready. This is a scored reaction. We score out of 4 categories: lyrics, melody, hook, and overall appeal. Scored out of 100, and the question is if you were to ask 100 people what they thought of the song, how many would give them thumbs up and how many would give them thumbs down. And this is to try and take on a broad aspect of the general public, whether they're into, whether you're 90 years old, whether you're 12 years old, whether you like heavy metal, if you like R&B, if you like dance, if you like classical music. Can you appreciate this band? And that's where we give a score of over 50 is generally a good score. No one's got a score of... I don't think I've given anyone an 80 or above yet. I know I've had a few 70s, but and I've had a few 50s. I think I've had a couple under 50, but not many. They're kind of in the 50s or above, because as long as you can write a decent track, you can kind of get half people can appreciate it. Let's do this. The Mask from Underkings. 3, 2, 1... Go! Very epic.
feel isolated, always alone, lost and cold for how long is unknown. The two rejected, long to be ended, the mask gone, but nothing was mended. Feel the heart beneath the surface, peel back the skin and find the life within. Rifle him, but not falling. For the one that bears the pain, for the one that bears my name.
Oh dear. Okay. So that was The Mask by Underking. Okay, so there's two things I want to talk about on this particular track. So one is the actual track itself, the songwriting, etc. And the other bit is around talking about production and stuff like that. So, talking about the song itself, it's a good song. You can really tell vocally, if that's Maxwell, he is comfortable with his own voice. So one of the things to talk about when doing vocals is making sure you find your voice and don't try to imitate others. Just because you'll do, if you find your voice rather than trying to imitate someone else, you're less likely to damage your vocals. So singing in your own style of voice, not trying to imitate someone like James Hetfield or someone like that, you're not going to be putting strain on your vocal cords as much because you're going to sing in a style that you can naturally sing in, and then you just work and develop on that. And that sounds very much what I was hearing in his vocal style there. It didn't sound like it was put on. It felt like it was very comfortable to sing in that style, so that was good, which allows you a lot more control. And vocally, it's very well controlled. It was very, although it's not specifically the style of vocals I kind of listen to, it's a little bit, for me, quite dramatic vocal stylization. But it was done very, very well. I do think there was a little bit. Actually, I'm not going to go back to. I'm going to production in a minute. Go back to that. Let's just keep my train of thought. So elements of it. So the main kind of riff before it goes into solo was very kind of power metal-y, had a kind of epic vibe to it, and the solo felt very new wave of British heavy metal, that sort of style in there. Solo was a great solo, very shreddy. Really enjoyed that element of it. I do think that coming out of that back into the chorus bit was that slow down at the end was a bit brutal. I almost felt like it could have gone with a stop, break, and then cut back in rather than that slow down. It kind of caught me off guard a little bit there, and wasn't as easy and smooth as I think it was aiming to be. Lyrically wise, very good. Nice melody, good hook over the chorus, and I think people will generally like the track. I think it's got a little bit for everyone, so it's a reasonably good crossover appeal. Now we can talk about production bits. So very much sounds obviously produced a home produced song, but produced very well at home on a home system. It's amazing what you can do nowadays, especially if you know what you're doing, which he obviously does. Much better than I do. He knows a lot more than I do. And that's because I have a lack of patience. I do too many projects, what with the YouTube channels, my business, the Right Side Craft Shop, and a host of other things, projects that I'm always working on, means that I don't really do a lot of time on the actual recording process. But I can obviously hear what he's doing in there. I think vocally there was a little bit too much layering for me. And you can hear that. And that's to give it fullness of tone, to give some nice harmonisations. But you can hear there's a lot of layering going on there. The drums themselves sound very much programmed rather than played. You'll have to let me know in the comments below, Max, if that is not the case. But it does sound to me that they're programmed, and there's a couple of reasons why they sound that. Not just the fact that they sound dead on, because even if you play, if you play them, I've done it myself sometimes, and you get something that's slightly off. You can quantize it because you're playing through a MIDI kit. So even if they've played it straight on, but there's the impact of velocity. And what we mean by that is the hit of the actual stick. So, when you're hitting the skin, as a drummer, you do not hit the same. You can hit it at a different velocity. And on MIDI kits, it picks up a different velocity hit. And you'll hear it, especially when I do recordings with double kick. You can hear it going. That's just because sometimes my feet will not come down with the same velocity or same impact. Now you will argue and say, well, a great drummer will hit with the same velocity the whole way through. Yes, but I can guarantee what you will find is they will make odd little ones which they don't sound quite right. And we call that the human factor. So on recordings you will find that drummers will, or even there are programs now where you can put the human factor into the program. So you make it fix the velocity so it has variable velocities on the track. For me, the drums sounded the velocity sounded too precise the whole way through. Listening to the double kick, hi-hats, etc., snare sounds. The snare sound was probably the weakest of the drum sounds on there. Everything else sounded pretty good. I think the snare sound just had this... It didn't have that real nice sharp crack to me. It felt a little bit too round, and that again gives me that sound of I would say it's been programmed in rather than. And there is nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong, especially if you're a solo musician and you're working on tracks and you don't play drums yourself. There are so many programs out there with MIDI loops, etc., different drum styles, drum programs. I used to use it a lot for demoing for Nothing Gained albums, so pretty much the entire album would have been, we would write the songs and I would actually click, drag and drop my drum patterns. So I'd write them on the computer and then I'd have to go and learn them, and that was sometimes a bit of a problem because I sometimes couldn't play what I'd put down for the demo. So by the time we got to recording an album, I wasn't good enough, and so we'd have to go and spend more time practicing, and I would have to go spend some more time in the studio working on those drums until I could play what I'd programmed. So it's not always a good idea to program your drums. But yeah, that was kind of the only other thing I picked out from it. But otherwise, good track, really enjoyed it. And now down to you. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please do subscribe, click the bell icon, like, share, leave the comments, get involved with the challenges. That of course is how Dave does it.